If you don't have either one of those things, they don't care how amazing your app is.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
But Jason, it's very hard to play with the big boys. However, if they follow your recipe,
Yeah, of course.
okay, rather than the 20-page product,
Yep.
let's left these 19 pages and let's do page one.
Yes. The MVP.
Let's develop page one only. Let's do marketing and sales. Let's see the traction on page one. Let's see, let's listen what the client said. Let's sell page one first. Yeah. And when say page one is selling somehow with the money that page one is making, let's develop in part two, taking into consideration that the money that page one is making. Yeah, that's the other question I want to ask you.
Yeah, and really you're getting onto something here, but really the key is once you finish that MVP, that minimum viable product, and you get that page one out there, then you want to ask the people who are using it what they want page two.
What will be the page two? But exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to build it yourself.
Exactly.
You want to ask them, what features do you need? What features do you want? What will you pay for?
Probably it's no page two. What needs to be? Maybe it's page 5.
Maybe it's page 20. Exactly. So you don't know, right? Let the market tell you. Let the data drive your decisions.
But then, Jason, I want to explore a little bit more in the part that those ones that listened to you, they were successful, and those ones that didn't listen to you, they failed. Yeah. And my question to you is, why they didn't listen to you?
Yeah. Because they thought they knew everything.
And
two reasons. They thought they knew everything.
Problem that we see in tech. Big problem that we see in tech. That tech startup founders, they are not coachable.
No, they're not technical people. The people that would come to me always were not technical. They were people who either owned a business and had some money, or they had a really good job and had some money, and they wanted to break out of that. They were bored. They didn't want to work at their job. They didn't want to run their business. They wanted something big that could become big, right? And they would see all the articles in the news, like Facebook, $100 billion, Google, $100 billion. This startup got bought by PayPal for $20 billion. Like, I have an idea like that. Okay, great. But you don't know anything about technical stuff. And what most people don't know, and Harry, this is really important. Everyone should hear this. What most people don't know or realize is even if you build the best product in the world, it is still extremely difficult to market that product.
100%. Especially, software as a service, especially, the customer that acquire the clients. But the thing is, Jason, that usually you see, or either we have non-technical people with money, which is something that is really dangerous,
yeah.
Coming to a tech space with this background like that, we have the other spectrum where we have the software developers, that have a little bit of money, but because they're software developers, they can develop the product themselves.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're back to square one. Even in this podcast.
Well, that's a good point. The software developers, right? So a lot of software developers, if you read online, they post stuff on like Reddit and whatnot. They have really good jobs where they're making $200,000 a year, right? And then while they're at work or on the night times and weekends, they're making their products and they're putting it out there. And maybe after 6 months, they build the really good platform, right? Either software as a service or something else, right? And every single one of them, I see this all the time, Harry. They always say, but I can't sell it. I don't know how to sell it.
Even worse, I don't want to
sell it. Yeah,
anybody to sell. My job is to write, and because also they coming from a corporate, right? And when you're coming from a corporate, you are used, this is your job, this is not my job, this is your job, this is not my job. So they're coming from a company that make corporate company making 200,000, where they have very specific limited what's their job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're creating their own startups, and they bring in the culture for corporate to the startup
Doesn't work
environment,
that
which
way.
is a disaster, because in the startup is completely opposite. You need people to be more general, starting by you, that you're the founder. You cannot. I seen people in the tech, with tech product, software developer, saying, no, I am the CEO, I developed this product, but I'm not gonna sell it because this is not my job.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be the
I I
CTO.
I uh, I'm
They're
gonna
supposed to
put
be
a
the C.
CEO. I'm gonna put someone, and that's
Yeah,
their
but
job. This is
Harry,
not my job.
those
I see people
developers,
talking like that.
but those
So can you
developers, right?
imagine?
They need to listen to us, right? Those developers, those are CTOs, not CEOs. They're supposed to be chief technical officers. They have to find someone like me or you who like the product and see a clear path to selling it and say, I'll be the CEO for this much percentage of the company equity. And as I get you sales and we can start making money from this, I get my percentage right away. I get my salary.
Mhm.
So, and of course, if we sell the company, then we can make a lot of money. That's really what a lot of these technical people have been saying online, these software developers. They're looking for a business person who can help them as a co-founder sell the product. But those people are also hard to get because they're running big
All
they're running big companies. They're making, millions of dollars a year on their own businesses and working for big companies. So why do they want to work for, some software developer? Well, I would say if there's business people out there who've already made a lot of money and they're kind of bored, because a lot of people these days, they're always bored, like they don't have anything to do. They're just sitting around the house like making money, but what else to do? So that's when they say, "Okay, I'll throw you a bone and yeah, I'll work with you and see what we can do. Why not?"
Yeah, but Jason, the thing is that and we come back to culture. Yeah, it's really the most of the entrepreneurs in this podcast that I ask, if you had to start all over again,
Oof.
what would you do it different? Yeah. And especially the tech people tell me, Harry, man, if I had to do everything again, I would put more attention to culture. Uh, I didn't know that it's gonna take me 100 times harder than I thought, and I didn't know that the product I had to iterate it so many times that what I thought. I didn't know all that. I thought that the path is gonna be shorter, and knowing what I know now, from the early beginning, we will nurture the culture. We will embrace the culture. We will embrace the team. We're gonna bring this mentality that we all are, like you said. You clearly said, like the team, like the Avengers, that we are the
Yeah.
Avengers. We are the unstoppable, and every single character can do here in the company anything. Um,
And each character from,
if
each
today
each
the whole
member.
company need the sales, everybody stop writing code and everybody go and sell the product. If after now is selling, we come back and things like that. Everybody can have in their own way, right? And this mentality from corporate, like, oh, this is my job, this is not my job. I don't want to do this. I don't know. Well, when you are a small team and with a couple of co-founders and 2 3 members, everybody had to do everything, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to a product market fit in their own ability, the best we can. This is no, oh, this is my job, this is not my job. It
Well,
doesn't work that
here's the
way.
thing about that though. So, and the reason why I brought up the Avengers or even the Justice League, I like both, is that each member of this superhero team has a very special power and a very special ability, right? And that's why I brought that up, is that every single team member really does need to have a very special ability or skill, whether it's graphic design or selling or coding or finances or marketing, right? They each have to have a really good skill. But at the same time, they have to be willing to learn, at least learn how to do other things, right? They might not be good at them, but they have to at
They
least
have
be
to
willing to
learn.
learn and
Absolutely.
wear a lot of hats. And one thing I learned, I'll tell you what right now, Harry, anyone listening to this or watching this, is if you want to build a company and you want to get your first million, right? You personally have to learn as much as possible about everything. So you should know how to do a little coding. You should know how to do some social media ads. You should know how to create videos. You should know how to write scripts. You should know how to make a website. You should know how to write blogs. You should know how to reach out to journalists. You should know how to do a little bit of everything, so that
at least the basic knowledge, Jason.
The basic knowledge of each thing.
Because sometimes your team members are working hard, sweat and tears in the startup, working actually.
You have to help them.
You develop the product, that's your company, and you have this culture issue that they don't appreciate, and they just don't appreciate because they don't even understand the complexity of the job of the other person is doing, because they don't have the very basic knowledge.
I mean, Harry,
they just read in the magazine, oh, Facebook 100 million, oh, this company find this multi-million client. You're reading the press, and then they can come to Jason and say, oh, all the companies that I know, they all find clients, and Jason, you don't find any clients. I say, hold on, all the companies that you know are the only one that's succeeding.
Yeah.
This one is just a start that nobody knows you.
There's only a handful.
Challenge.
But what's
to bring you the first client, right?
You mentioned a couple of things. Like earlier, you said, "What would I do differently?" Right, and it's such a clear answer that happened to me during the pandemic. Is when the pandemic started in 2020, and I was with one of my business partners, and we had built an app 10 years ago that did really well, but then it kind of just fell off and it kind of dissolved. But it did really well for several years. And we decided, let's bring it back, but let's change it. We noticed in the pandemic, people needed friends. So, because they were very lonely. And so we built this video friendship app called Spinnr, and it did really well for about 2 years, 2020 to 2022, roughly. But here's where things got interesting. And here's the thing I would have done differently originally, is I would have gotten into AI a little quicker, because what happened was we put AI in the app and everybody started saying they wanted the AI for themselves, but it was more of an app AI, not a personal AI. Mm-hmm. So then we built Vengo AI to be a custom solution for these people. And guess what happened? We found out that it really wasn't for consumers. We found out that business owners wanted to use Vengo AI. So we had to pivot to a B2B SaaS product. Wow. And this took us, 6 months to figure out by following the steps. We built a minimum viable product. We did some beta testing with a couple hundred people. We found out that the business owners wanted it. We built a really good demo. We got grants and financing from Microsoft, NVIDIA, and OpenAI. They said, okay, build the real product. We built the real product, and here we are launched with a B2B product that has 15 customers, and now we're about to really take things off.
Wow.
And so, that's how you do, like we did.
You have 15 B2B clients. That's amazing.
Well, we want to hit 50, right? That's our goal. Our goal is to hit 50 clients. And the good thing about B2B is you don't need 1 million consumer users on an app. You need 50 customers. And so, what I learned and what I would do differently is one simple thing. Stay away from consumer apps. Just stay away from them, because nobody's going to invest in your consumer app unless you have 1 million users and $1 million in revenue. If you don't have either one of those things, they don't care how amazing your app is. So stick to B2B, get those 10, 20, 30 clients to pay for your service, sell the company for whatever amounts of millions you want, and then go build your consumer app.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.